Good morning, everyone. My name is Crystal. I'm from Ontario, Canada. I'd love it if you joined me for a day in my life. I woke up at about 6:15 this day. I'd like to first get into the bathroom, get my day started. I brush my teeth right away because ain't nobody like a stanky mouth. After I brush my teeth, I always like to go ahead and give my face a quick wash. I've been using the Cetaphil cleanser. I get it from Costco, and I also use the Cetaphil moisturizer. Honestly, simple ingredients, great for your face, cost effective. Can't go wrong with this choice. And as a mom of a 14-month-old, I definitely need some help with my under eye situation. We got bags and we got dark circles, and that's okay. I use the Alouette Platinum Under Eye Cream, and I've been using this for years. Swear by it, love it, go get it. Now that my son is awake, we're gonna go and grab him. So let's go say good morning to Truett. Good morning. First things first, I gotta make my coffee. If you know, you know. Do not ask me to do anything in the morning before I have a sip of coffee. I'm pretty simple when it comes to my coffee. A little bit of sugar, a little bit of cream, and that'll do ya. So on this morning today, I decided to make some sourdough loaf. I ended up doing a proof overnight for about 9 hours. So this is just me getting the dough ready to be baked. So at this point in the process, I preheat my oven to 500 degrees and I put my Dutch oven into the oven while it preheats. It takes about 35 to 40 minutes. Also, just a little tip I learned was if you place a baking sheet after your oven has preheated below your Dutch oven, the bottom of your crust won't burn and it will be a lot more tender and easier to cut. I'm yet to buy a fancy sourdough knife, but that's okay because a straight edge razor works just fine. So this is my loaf proofed. Looks pretty good. All I do is I do one big half moon cut and then 5 or 6 little slashes on the opposite side. I'm not good at cutting my sourdough loaf. This is like the 6th loaf I've made, so take my advice with a grain of salt. Do they come out perfect? No. Do they look perfect? No, definitely not. Do they taste great? Absolutely. Now that the oven is preheated, at this point, I take the baking sheet that I was talking about earlier and I place that on the bottom rack of my oven. Now that the Dutch oven is nice and hot, I like to plop my sourdough right on in there. We'll put the lid on and we'll slide it in the oven and set a timer for 25 minutes. I'm a big advocate for clean as you go. There's nothing worse than being done with your kitchen projects and having a disaster of a kitchen and a sink full of dishes. Next on the docket today, we're making some turkey soup. So I went and gathered some onions, some carrots, and we're gonna go ahead and start chopping those up today. I'm gonna be using some leftover turkey from Thanksgiving weekend, so this makes the turkey soup even easier. I ended up simmering the turkey bones, the turkey neck, just basically all of the cut-offs, the apples, the onions, the celery that we stuffed in the turkey. I ended up simmering that for probably about 18 hours the night before. Rather, it would have been the day before because I ended up letting it cool overnight so that I could skim off the fat in the morning. So I decided to use up what onion I had left over from Thanksgiving weekend, which was a sweet onion. And then I just grabbed another Spanish onion from the cupboard. Use whatever you have. I like to just use what's in my fridge. If I have something left over, I might as well use it up, throw it in a soup. As you can see here, I'm really struggling. So here we're just gonna finish chopping up the onion. That's the leftover onion from the Thanksgiving dinner that we hosted on Sunday. That was great, by the way. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. So yeah, we're just gonna finish off the carrots now. I chose to grab my mandolin today just because I prefer the vegetables in my soup to be uniformly chopped, and it just makes things a lot easier. So we're gonna continue cutting up the carrots, and we'll finish chopping off the ends of the carrots. And here we're taking a look at my sourdough. The 25-minute timer is now up. So we're going to remove the top, and we are going to drop the temperature to 450 degrees, and you'll set a timer now for 15 to 20 minutes. I always like to check it at 15 minutes. So while the sourdough loaf is finishing cooking in the oven, I take the time now while my son is napping to do a quick cleanup in the living room. I like to do this every time he goes down for a nap, just to give the living room a reset, just because I think it's important for him to come out to a clean space. I think we all get a little overwhelmed, and I can only imagine that little toddlers do too. It's nice that he has all the toys, but sometimes, like I said, we all do. We all get a little overstimulated. So I like to take this time to do a reset. Now we're gonna take a little walk out to my garden. It's October 15th here today. It's a beautiful day out. I think it's about 60 degrees, I would say. That's my dog Mishka. So yeah, we're gonna go out to the garden because I still have a couple celery plants in the garden. That's them right there. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna trim out some celery, probably about 15 to 20 stalks. And then we're gonna chop off the leaves while we're out in the garden, and they can just compost in place over the winter. Now that we're back inside, we're going to give the celery a quick rinse. It's important to give your vegetables from the garden a rinse before you put them in your recipes, even if they grow above the ground, just from the rain and bugs. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to give it a quick chop and put it aside with the carrots and the celery, or the carrots and the onion, sorry. I think our bread is ready. Are you excited as I am to see it? Like I said earlier, this is probably my 5th or 6th loaf, so I'm not a seasoned sourdough baker by any means. But I will say, every loaf that I do bake, I am always so proud. So here I'm just taking a quick temperature. You need it between 205 and 10 degrees, so we're good with that. And look at this beauty, guys. Oh my goodness. Isn't she beautiful? Like, we just need to take a moment, because it is a work of art, and you should be proud, because sourdough loaf is hard to make. I've had a lot of flops, and look at this beauty. So now we're going to do a quick little cleanup in the kitchen. Remember what I said earlier? We clean as we go. Repeat after me. We clean as we go. So I'm just going to put the oven mitts away, put the sourdough, or put the Dutch oven back, just because I don't want my little one to reach up. It's very hot still. We're gonna wipe down the counters from all the breadcrumbs. We're just going to refresh the kitchen before we get this turkey soup rockin'. We're gonna jump outside here real quick. This is my little herb garden. I'm grabbing some parsley, some thyme, and we're gonna come back inside and we're going to give that a rough chop to also add to our turkey soups. Nothing elevates a dish quite like fresh herbs. In a pinch, use dry, but I'm telling you, there's nothing like fresh herbs. I always, always, always advocate for using fresh herbs. And this is some leftover herbs that we had from the Thanksgiving dinner. I forgot about that in the fridge, to be honest. So I'm just gonna add some into my already chopped bowl of parsley and thyme. I believe this has rosemary and sage in it. Now that everything is prepped for the soup, my son ended up waking up. I do like to let him wake up on his own for 15 or 20 minutes. Obviously, if he's crying, that's a different story, but usually he wakes up pretty happy. So I'm gonna go and get ready for the day today. I am using some dry shampoo today. I'm going to put that thoroughly all over my head because Lord knows I need to wash my hair. After I look like an 80-year-old grandma, I like to just brush it through so that it's evenly distributed. And now this is a Marc Anthony voluminizing product, I believe. I like this a lot. It smells really good. Now that we're pretty much ready for the day, I'm gonna go ahead and put on some deodorant. I really like this Dove deodorant. It's very gentle on your skin. I believe it has shea butter in it. It smells very, very good. And again, it's very gentle on your skin. So now it's been about 15 minutes. We're gonna go get the little stinker up. He's rolling around. So let's go get him. Hello. Hi. Hi, babe. Hi, babe. You have a good nap. What do you want to wear today? Are you excited? You want to get dressed? Yeah. Look. My sister's doing it. Is anyone else's baby a roly-poly-oly? Like, it's trying to tame a dragon getting him dressed. So now we're gonna repack his diaper bag because I ended up washing it the night before. So I grabbed a couple diapers to put in. And then that's some hand sanitizer in a pinch. You never know, right? Nobody wants a poopy hand. That's some couple different diaper creams. I also like to add in an extra outfit just in case there's an accident. Those are some wipes and a changing pad because not everywhere has a changing station. And I always like to add in some socks too, just in case. You never know, right? Always be prepared when you have a baby. Can't forget the susu. And here's my little stinker. We're all ready for the day. Say hello, everybody. Isn't he so cute? Like, I could just eat him up. I do eat him up all day, every day. Nom nom nom. So on this day today, I actually have to go out to get an oil change. So I always like to bring some snacks. So I'm just putting some puffs into a little container. I grabbed a Nutri-Grain bar for myself. And I always take an applesauce pouch for him too, because nobody wants a hungry baby. And snacks fix everything, right? This is a really affordable protein. We get it off of Amazon. The flavors are bomb. We've tried a couple now. I don't usually have a protein shake every day, but when I'm in a pinch or a rush, it's something easy to grab. Is it all gone? Cheers. Cheers. Good boy. Where are we? We had such a good time at the park. I can't believe that he went down the slide all by himself. I'm such a proud mama. Now we're back at the house and we're gonna get some stuff going on inside. You like your muffins? That was a big bite. Cheers. Cheers. Okay. The dog? Oh. You want to give her one? Give me Scott. Now at this point, I've brought in my turkey stock and I have it simmering on the stove. I'm gonna get a pot of water on to boil. I always like to add a very, very generous amount of salt. We like egg noodles in our soup, but I also love to add barley. Such a nutritious grain and has a really good texture, I think, in soups. So I also like to rinse off my barley. I think that's important. It's a grain, right? So it's just like rice. It's covered in starch. So here I'm measuring out about 2 cups to add into my soup. And then I'll put it into a bowl and I'll top it off with some water. And you kind of massage the barley and I'll rinse it probably 3 or 4 times in total. Time for nap.
You want to Daddy?
Get your bed ready. Remember when I said I like to pick up the living room when he goes down for a nap? Well, here we are again, putting all the toys away. It's like clockwork, right? But I wouldn't change it for the world. Here we have the leftover turkey from our Thanksgiving dinner that we had on Sunday. I'm not going to use the drumsticks, but I am going to use the remainder of the meat. I think this is a great way to repurpose your leftovers, whether it's doing turkey salad, turkey soup, putting it in the freezer. There's a ton of different ways to use leftover meat. I prefer to use soup just because it's so easy. Time to refill the coffee maker. I always do this during the day. My husband was on nights right now, so I like to preset the coffee maker for him. It will brew at 5 o'clock p.m. He leaves for work at 5:45. What coffee are you guys drinking right now? Right now we are using Nabob. We don't have like a die-hard coffee brand that we always buy. Honestly, I just buy what's on sale, and the only coffee that I wasn't really a fan of was the Great Value. I guess cheap isn't always better, right? I like to also keep a mason jar of coffee on the countertop. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to keep your coffee in a dark container. Can anybody confirm that? I haven't ever noticed a difference in the taste. I'm pretty sure that's the same for oil. You're supposed to keep your olive oil or avocado oil, whatever type of oil that you use, in a dark container. I've never done that. Again, I don't see a taste difference whatsoever, but one of you guys let me know. Now we're going to be adding our celery and carrots into our turkey stock. I had previously added the onions when I brought the turkey stock inside, so they've been simmering in the pot for about 30 minutes with the herbs. So while Truett is still napping and the soup is cooking away, I thought I would take you guys on out to my garden. It looks pretty sad right now, but that's because we're in October and obviously the garden season is coming to an end. But right here we have some snap peas. They're doing pretty good for being planted in August. Here we have my green beans. I planted them the same time that I did the snap peas. We'll go more into another video as to why I decided to do a second succession of peas and beans. But now I'll take you up to our deck. I have a ton of spaghetti squash and butternut squash that I want to show you guys. So right now, the reason why these are out on the deck is because I'm actually trying to cure them. So this is a butternut squash here, and if you can see, I indented it with my fingernail, and it's not cured yet because it's still soft on the skin. The soup turned out great. The bread was fantastic. Thanks for watching, guys.